What if I told you that for most of human history, war didn't exist? Not because people were peaceful, not because we were kinder back then, but because the very idea of organized killing hadn't happened yet. Sounds impossible, right? We tend to assume violence has always been part of being human. Like somewhere inside our DNA, there's a switch labeled kill, just waiting to be flipped. But the truth is stranger, and honestly, a lot more unsettling. Because somewhere in our deep past, something changed, a line was crossed, and once it happened, there was no going back. So today, we're going hunting for that moment. The first war. The first time one group of humans looked at another and decided they're the enemy. And what we discover along the way might completely change how you think about human nature. Because this isn't just ancient history, it's the story of how us and them was born. And once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere, even inside yourself. Let's go back. Way, way back. 200,000 years ago. Small bands of Homo sapiens wander across the plains of Africa. No cities, no borders, no kingdoms, no armies. Just tiny groups. 20, maybe 30 people. Moving with the seasons. Following food. Trying to survive. Life is brutally hard. But here's the part most people don't expect. For decades, many anthropologists believed these early humans were surprisingly peaceful. Not because they were saints, because of simple math. If the only other humans within hundreds of miles might one day help you survive, you don't attack them. You might need to trade with them, marry into their group, share resources during a drought, or borrow fire when yours goes out. Cooperation wasn't kindness, it was survival. But peaceful doesn't mean harmless. Jealousy existed, revenge existed, murders happened. Humans have always been capable of hurting one another, one against one. But that's not what we're looking for. We're searching for something different. Groups, fighting groups, planned attacks, repeated violence, war, and for a very long time, scientists argued over whether war had always existed or whether humans invented it much later. So they searched for answers, not in myths, but in bones. One place changed the entire conversation. Jebel Sahaba, northern Sudan, near the Nile. Archaeologists uncovered a cemetery dating back roughly 13,000 years. Dozens of skeletons, many carrying horrifying evidence of how they died. Stone projectile points embedded in ribs, crushed skulls, old injuries that had healed, alongside fresh wounds. Meaning these people weren't attacked once. They survived violence only to face it again. This wasn't one bad day. It looked like repeated conflict between groups. Possibly one of the oldest examples of warfare we've ever found. And it wasn't the only one. Thousands of kilometers away, in Kenya, at a place called Nataruk, researchers uncovered another chilling scene. People who had died around 10,000 years ago. Some with crushed skulls, some pierced by weapons, some appearing to have had their hands bound, their bodies left exactly where they fell. So here's the question. What changed? Because for tens of thousands of years, then we see very little evidence of organized warfare. Then, almost suddenly, it begins appearing in the archaeological record. Why? The answer surprised scientists. It wasn't that human nature changed, human circumstances did. The Ice Age was ending, climate shifted, landscapes transformed, resources became unpredictable, sometimes scarce. And when resources shrink, while populations grow, competition begins. Imagine your family depends on one river, one fishing ground, one stretch of land. Then strangers arrive. People who need the very same thing. Your brain isn't debating philosophy, it's calculating survival. Us. or them. That simple calculation may have ignited the first wars, but that's only half the story, because another clue comes from somewhere completely unexpected. Chimpanzees. Back in the 1970s, primatologist Jane Goodall witnessed something shocking in Gombe, Tanzania. A community of chimpanzees split into two rival groups. Then, over the next several years, the stronger group systematically hunted down the weaker one. Patrols, ambushes, coordinated killings. One after another. Scientists later called it the Gombe Chimpanzee War, and it forced researchers to confront an uncomfortable possibility. Chimpanzees are among our closest living relatives. If they're capable of organized group violence, then perhaps the capacity for war didn't begin with humans at all. Maybe it goes back millions of years to an ancestor we once shared, which changes the question completely. Maybe humans didn't invent war. Maybe we inherited the potential, and the world simply created the conditions for that potential to awaken. One word keeps appearing again and again. Scarcity. But even scarcity isn't the whole story, because around 12,000 years ago, something else transformed humanity forever. Agriculture. People stopped wandering, they settled, they built homes, villages, fields, and for the first time, they accumulated something entirely new. Property, stored grain, livestock, land, things worth defending. And whenever something becomes valuable, but it also becomes valuable, it's on it to steal. This is when warfare truly begins to accelerate. Not occasional violence, not isolated clashes, but something recurring. Villages build walls, communities form alliances, weapons evolve, from hunting tools into tools made specifically for killing other people. Ironically, the same innovation that allowed civilization to flourish also made organized war far more common. Progress and conflict grew from the same roots. Here's what I find most fascinating. This story isn't about humans being evil. It's about humans being adaptable. We're capable of incredible cooperation. Millions of strangers working together, building cities, sharing knowledge, creating civilizations. And we're also capable of extraordinary violence. When fear, scarcity, or competition convince us that another group threatens our survival. Same species, same brain. Two completely different outcomes. Depending on the world around us, in some ways, that's even more unsettling, because it means war was never guaranteed. It was conditional. If certain conditions helped create it, perhaps different conditions can reduce it. After all, the same instincts that once helped tiny bands of 30 people survive together have somehow expanded into nations of millions. That's one of the greatest transformations our species has ever achieved. So, when did humans first start killing each other? The capacity was probably always there, inherited from ancestors who lived millions of years before us. But organized war, the kind fought by groups against groups, appears only after the world becomes crowded enough, hard enough, or unequal enough for them to feel like a threat to us. And maybe that's the real question. Not, when did war begin? But what would it take to create a world where it no longer feels necessary? Because if humans created the conditions that made war possible, perhaps we can create conditions that make it far less likely. And that might be the most important story of all. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's deepest past, subscribe to the Primal Logic, because every week we uncover the hidden stories behind human nature, science, history, and the invisible forces that continue to shape our world today.